Hi everyone, I'm back with another Draw With Me video. So I had actually edited, uploaded, and released this video to my patrons a few days ago. And then I watched it again and I was like, oh no, what if people wanted me to talk in it instead? And so I decided to do a voiceover. But speaking of that, I'm actually really interested in knowing what you as a viewer prefer in a video. Like, do you like it when I talk? Do you like it more when there's no talking? Maybe you like it better when it's only subtitles. And aside from that, do you also like watching me draw closer to real time? Do you like it more sped up? If you can spare the time to comment below and answer those, I would really appreciate it. And it would be really helpful to know what the preferences of my audience are, especially since my audience is growing quite a bit lately. It's like pretty overwhelming, honestly, because my last Draw With Me video is gaining quite a bit of views, at least more than I'm used to, and I am overwhelmed, but I'm so grateful that you guys are enjoying my content. But I did want to start doing more special videos that are just more than just a speed paint. Like maybe I'm redrawing something or I'm designing and you can see my thought process behind designing a character. Just stuff like that, you know? So there's a little bit more variety with my channel instead of just commissions. I do commissions all the time and it's easy for me to just record them, but sometimes I don't feel like recording when I work, and so I could just dedicate a day to recording for a video. And so it's all like that. So let me know what you guys want to see, because you know I like to know what people want to watch here. So what I'm working on is actually a full body commission, and for this pose I just had something in mind and I didn't look at any references. Usually I at least pull something up from Pinterest or take a picture of myself if I can't find anything. But this time I kind of just winged it, and so you'll be seeing me struggle with it a little bit, like the position of the legs and stuff. And yeah, so that's my tip of the day, I guess, is that if you can't find a pose online, just take a picture of yourself doing it. Honestly, even if it looks funny or cringy, whatever, you're gonna be the only one seeing it, so it doesn't really matter. And the way that I would actually do it is I would just film a video of myself, like on my phone, trying every single pose that I can think of, and then later on I watch it and I just take screenshots of what ended up looking fine enough to be used as a reference photo. Don't be embarrassed by it because you're the only one seeing it. You know, just remember to delete it afterwards so that in case there's some situation where people are snooping in your phone, they don't see it and be like, what the heck are you doing? So lately I've also been watching quite a bit of like ASMR drawing videos, and I thought of trying to do that before because it'll allow me a way to do almost hour-long videos without any guilt behind not talking in it. But then I can't really do that because it's rarely ever only my pen sounds when I work. I like to talk a lot, being in Discord calls and all that. And I don't think my mic really picks it up that well either, so I can't do ASMR videos at the moment, but hopefully I can in the future. And I am taking a bit longer to sketch things out here, so I'm speeding it up a little. And while that's the topic, I'm gonna ask you, which part of the process is your favorite to watch artists do? Because for me, I almost get frustrated seeing myself sketch because I'm like, girl, you need to make decisions faster because this is your job and you need to be efficient with your time. But when I watch other artists draw, I really love to watch them sketch because you get to see the types of methods they use, like when they draw bodies or when they draw the heads, because everyone has different guidelines that they have in identifying where to put certain things. And I guess when watching other people draw, I'm not too big on line art because it's almost just seeing them draw the same thing over and over again. And so for me, I like to watch people sketch and I like to watch them draw. But when watching myself draw, especially when editing these videos, I almost just want to like skip the sketch part because I'm like, ew, I hate watching this, but I know like some of you might really like it. So yeah, what's your favorite part to see? I also just hate how much my camera arm moves when I get a little bit more aggressive while I draw. So I'm gonna save it for a more sturdy camera arm just so that you guys aren't like feeling like it's an earthquake in these videos. So this piece took me around 4 sittings to finish, and the client kindly allowed me to choose which outfit I wanted to draw, and so I chose this yellow one. And I noticed that in my work I really like to use yellow, like lots and lots of yellow. Anytime I have the opportunity to put yellow in my art, I take it, like no doubt, absolutely. So I've been seeing that a lot of people have been asking questions about which brushes I use, and you can kind of see them on the side, but some of them have Japanese names, and so I put my brushes in a description and you'll see them there. But I mainly just use this brush that I made over the years that I've been drawing, and I now call it the everything brush, but in older videos it'll just be called line. And I put that up, and so if you want that, I finally have it available for you to use. Except if you're on Procreate, I did charge at least $1 for it because it did take me around a couple of hours to recreate it in Procreate. So in the description, you'll see which brushes I use specifically for sketching and which ones I use sometimes to color. But mostly, literally everything, aside from maybe sketching, is done by my line or everything brush. And after sharing it with everyone, it makes me almost want to make an entire brush pack of very textured brushes and maybe stamps of like some shapes and stuff. Even though I won't personally use those brushes because once again, I literally use this brush for everything. But I just love like crunchy textured brushes so much, and maybe I could make some and share with you all. So I wonder if some of you actually draw while watching these draw with me type videos. I know it might seem like a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, because I know sometimes I don't draw while watching them, but I do think they really help when trying to get into a drawing state of mind or just kind of to get into that zone. I do like to read all the comments on my video at the moment too, and I've been seeing a lot of questions about just art stuff, like how to get started on commissions and tips and a lot of tiny stuff that I can't really dedicate a single video to. So later on, I'll probably make a community post dedicated to questions for a Q&A that I can do an entire video on and just focus on whatever you guys want me to answer, because that seems pretty fun. And earlier you probably noticed that I skipped most of the lining process, and that's because for this piece I ended up lining it twice. So the first time I lined it, I felt like my lines were a little too thin, so I went back and redid it, and I just decided not to include either of those because I didn't really like how the footage looked. It's just a lot of very slow decision making, and I don't know, I was annoyed by it, so I didn't include it. But yeah, I like to have my lines thicker when it comes to full bodies, because when you zoom out to look at the entire thing, I don't want the lines to disappear or look too thin. That's why I like to thicken them up on bigger pieces compared to like a headshot or a bust. So when it comes to these videos, I do want to start making longer ones, and I was wondering if you guys would be interested in hour-long videos where the speed is much closer to how I actually draw in real time instead of it being sped up. And I do want to incorporate more of my own characters in these videos so you guys could start to get to know them. I have a webtoon story in the works, and I call it webtoon for now just to have something to call it, but there's actually a chance that it might never get turned into a webtoon and I'll just turn it into something else. But yeah, these are characters that I love and I would really love to incorporate them in these videos. But other than my own, I would actually really love to draw other people's characters, because there's just something so euphoric about seeing an artist draw something that you made or someone that you made. The serotonin just comes in and makes you so happy, and I love to make people happy with my art. So I actually opened requests on my Patreon for now. I'll open requests for YouTube comments maybe later on, but at the moment I'm just opening it to patrons. And so right now, if you want to possibly get in on those character or fan art requests, then it is available just for the $1 tier on Patreon. And yes, I am absolutely shamelessly promoting my Patreon right now because, you know, your girls gotta earn a living. So it's August and classes will be starting at the end of this month. I'm going to be going back to college to get my art degree. And one other thing that I really wanted to do on my channel is actually doing vlogs about how life is going to be like as an art student who isn't going to an art school. So I'll just be going to a normal CSU college. But, you know, art classes are still going to be very rigorous. This semester I'm going to be taking 3 art classes, which is more than I've ever taken at a time in my life. And it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, and I wanted to kind of document that for people to see. Plus, it'll still allow me time to make videos even while I'm doing schoolwork. We're going to be moving out and living away from my parents for the first time in my life, and it's definitely going to be a scary journey, but I'm so excited to finally be more independent, and I like to share that with you guys just to almost feel like more people are there with me. So I've actually been watching a lot of studio vlogs too, where people pack orders for their sticker shops or their art prints, and I was thinking of starting my own shop, which is a bit of an undertaking because the type of artist that I have been for years isn't exactly about merchandise. I have only started doing art prints lately with a third-party host, and it hasn't exactly been doing well. And I believe that's because the audience that I've built over the many years that I've been on social media hasn't been an audience that would buy merchandise from me. And so I've never promoted merchandise or anything like that. And so my confidence is really low in how well I can sell these things. But lately I've been changing my mindset about it. And I've been thinking that maybe if I had more control over my own shop, then I could do better at it. The sticker shops that I've seen around focus a lot more on very cutesy pastel stuff. And that isn't really my style. As you can see from my videos, I definitely don't draw pastel colors, and I've tried to work with them in the past and I don't exactly enjoy it that much. I like to work with very saturated colors like bright yellows, bright purples, bright pinks. And so I still want to keep that theme if I ever do stickers, because I actually don't see a lot of those around, at least when I've done my own research. And so that's what I want to do with a shop. I've been really addicted with watching cute frog videos, like of the circular desert rain frogs, and so that's my first idea for a sticker sheet, is drawing frogs. And I've never drawn a frog in my life, so that's going to be a learning process. And I do hope that future me does actually go through with this shop idea, because it could really work out in my favor and you guys get to enjoy some cute stickers too. It's really exciting to think about all the possibilities that can happen with it, and so I wanted to start this conversation maybe in the comments and ask you, what's something that you wanted to do in the past but didn't go through with? And if you thought about something, I encourage you to maybe now go ahead and just try it, because life is short and it never hurts to try stuff, try new hobbies. And if it's something bigger like opening up a shop, I'd say I believe in you and you can do it. In the past, I've been really stubborn in feeling like there's just certain things that I can't learn. But lately, in the last couple of years, I've been slowly changing my mindset to really actually believe that you can do anything that you want, as long as you put your mind into it and actually dedicate time. And of course, it's just a basic human fact that some people learn faster than others and some people learn slower. But you shouldn't let that discourage you. One small way that I've been adopting this mindset into my everyday life is telling myself that I can really truly learn how to draw anything if I actually just tried. So, for example, I mentioned before that I've never drawn a frog in my life and I really want to draw frog stickers. And so I'm gonna have to learn how to draw a frog. And, you know, maybe if you've never drawn a frog in your life too, we can do that together and I could possibly make a video about it. Or something like if you've never drawn a horse, which is universally almost agreed upon that it's difficult to draw a horse. But if you just look at a horse and really truly study how it looks, you could learn how to draw it like from memory. I don't think it's impossible for someone to never learn art. It's just some people might not enjoy it enough to continue doing it. Some people are just drawn to it more during childhood and they end up working that skill up a lot earlier than others, and that's why they're better at it earlier in life. And I just encourage you to just kind of take your mind off of that mindset that some things are impossible for you. And if there is something that you truly feel is impossible for you to do, think of it in a different way, like just saying, it's not for you. You know, it's not something that you particularly enjoy. Because of course, don't force yourself to do something that just makes you super frustrated, because that's not enjoyable. It's not healthy, and there's just some things we're better at. And I hope that everyone can find something that they really enjoy doing and that they can really build up that skill and become good at it and become confident in doing it, because there's really just something great about enjoying doing something and actually being good at it and being confident in what you do. Oh, oh god, I think I just like turned into a motivational speaker for a few minutes there. I didn't mean to do that. I mean, I hope that my words will get to someone and maybe one of you will start to learn a new skill that could turn out to be an amazing thing in your life, because that would be great. And I just realized that I've barely talked about the actual drawing in this video. So anyway, right now I'm currently in the rendering step, or the overpainting. You probably heard me talk about this part before, but it is indeed my favorite part to do. In this video, I'm actually dedicating the most screen time for it, just so that people can really see what happens in it. So the way I work is I section things out into, say, like skin, then hair, then jacket, then dress, then skirt, or whatever, or shoes. And so the order I do it in is sometimes random, but most of the time I do tend to focus on the skin and hair first. And for this piece, I really enjoyed overpainting the hair because it has a lot of different colors, it has a lot of different gradients. And on the side here, you get to see one of my reference pictures is actually not of the same character, but it is of one of my characters. And this is more so a reference for my style. As weird as it sounds, sometimes I forget how my style looks, and so I have to pull up a picture on the side and just kind of remind myself how I do certain things. I don't know if that's something that other artists do also, where they need to basically look at their own art to remember how it looks, or to remember certain things that they did to achieve the way it looks. I don't know, my brain works in weird ways that I have to remember how I do things. So the way I shade hair has actually changed a lot over the years. I used to want a very realistic style where I would like really shade hair and try to make the strands look alive and visible. But lately, I've almost adopted a more simplistic shading style, where I kind of just add things randomly without thought. And as long as it looks good, then it looks good. You know, it doesn't have to really truly make sense. And it's almost freeing to draw in that way because I don't have to care about things being realistic or things making sense. And it's just do what your brain likes to do. And I feel like ever since I started doing that with my art, it's really changed the course of my style and how much I improved. At least that's what works for me. And lately, I've also liked to use black a lot when shading. I think it just adds a nice contrast to things. I one time watched a tutorial video that said to avoid using really harsh blacks, like almost pitch black colors in your art. And so for a long time, I was actually afraid to use black in my art because I thought it would make it look bad. And then at one point, I just kind of embraced it because I got too lazy to color my lines a different color. And it drastically changed my style. I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I like how black looks in my art, so I'm gonna keep it in there. And if you don't like it, then whatever, don't look at my art, you know? Art, you shouldn't overthink it too much. And so this is the point where I run out of things to say, and I just want to thank you for watching, and I encourage you to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. And I also want to remind you that I do have a Patreon. You can have early access to videos and art, and even exclusive work in progress pictures and sketches, and all of that just for $1 a month. And so yeah, goodbye. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.